Wow. Breaking news. Canelo's gym to get Vergil Ortiz Jr.? Maybe, maybe not. ESPN reported this. Vergil Ortiz says it's not coming from him, so it is not confirmed. Enter the scandal. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you've arrived. You made it. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Help and encourage others to find the content with a simple and free gesture. Takes a couple seconds. Just throw a like on the video. That's all you got to do. Free, simple, painless, and let's get into it. Now, boxing is in a funny spot, if you will. Let me explain what's going on. So, ESPN's reporter Mike Coppinger, he posted a series of tweets. It says ESPN story on Vergil Ortiz making the change to Eddie Reynoso, who obviously has a huge fight tomorrow for Undisputed. Payday, you want payday. I know that, with Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant. Canelo's really the guy that kicked it off for Eddie Reynoso and put him on the map. So people started talking about this, right? And he says, I stand by my reporting, which we'll get to in a second. And so the information he came out with, he says that Vergil Ortiz is switching to Canelo's gym. And from that point, I guess he wrote a story, and ESPN, you see, they're posting it. Breaking news, Vergil Ortiz has parted ways with his trainer, Robert Garcia. Sources tell Mike Coppinger, and he will train with Eddie Reynoso in San Diego ahead of his next fight. Vergil Ortiz then took to his social media, and he says that is inaccurate at the moment, right? So this is Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s page. We'll get to what he says. After this report came out, clearly it got back to him. He says, unless me, my manager Rick, or my dad has spoken on anything relating to my boxing career, don't believe it. I already said no to Mike Coppinger of ESPN. Respect my answer. So I guess the reporter of ESPN was snooping around. Somebody may have put him on the lead to the story, and he slid in Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s inbox and said, hey, Vergil, hope all is great. It's going great. So I heard from a few people that you're training with Eddie Reynoso for your next fight. Is that true? Thanks. Vergil Ortiz Jr. says, what's up, Mike? You too. And no, it's not. So herein lies the problem. For me, I've been in this boxing game a long time at this point. And the reason I have longevity is because I know my place. I know I stay in my lane. To me, this is a bad look because, first of all, it could be true. There's a chance that he wants to switch and go from Robert Garcia, and he's looking for a new trainer. But it becomes really irresponsible on behalf of ESPN to have your reporter reach out and speak to the person directly, and then he says, no, it's not true. And then your sources say it's true, so you still put it out, and then ESPN is running with the story. Now, to make that even more twisted, they're doing a fight card as I record this video, and they posted this on the ESPN broadcast. It's a picture of Vergil Ortiz Jr. with the American flag, Mexican-American, out of Texas. And it says Vergil Ortiz Jr. changing trainers, will now be trained by Eddie Reynoso. So my thing is this. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not Vergil Ortiz. I don't know if it's true or not. It could be true. There's a chance, but there's a certain level of couth, I think, that we got to get back to in boxing media, and just as a boxing populace, where if he's not making it official, then there might be a reason for that. And if he's saying no, it's not true, and then the reporter with ESPN is still gonna print the story just to be first, that's kind of messed up. You know what I mean? Because, for example, I've heard about situations like this throughout different celebrities. You'll have a celebrity that reads about something in the paper involving their brand or likeness or their name, and they find out about it in the paper, right? And they're like, well, hold on, I'm the person they talking about. How come I don't know this information? Recently, when Tyson Fury said he tested positive for Rona, a heavyweight former champion, IBF champion that was around him, Joseph Parker, was drawn into that group. And you had people reporting that Joseph Parker too had Rona, and then people spotted Joseph Parker working out, videos of him working out, swimming with his kids, and it looked like nothing was wrong with him. He wasn't wearing a mask. And then it culminated with Joseph Parker going to a Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier trilogy fight. So they like scratching their head like, wait, you said that he had the Rona. Shouldn't he be quarantining? Why is he out and about? And then Joseph Parker later came out to New Zealand press and said, I didn't have Rona. They reported that I had Rona, and I don't know why. I read about that in the paper. And we've seen that. We've seen this happen with just not even just in boxing, but just in general, where you'll have people who are writing stories, and at the end of the day, the person has to read about it. So how it relates to Vergil Ortiz, again, I don't know if I got to take him at his word. He's the fighter. He's the one captaining his ship. He beat Mean Machine, looked good in the fight, got a stoppage, got some props from Mean Machine. And, we'll see what's next, what Golden Boy cooks up next for him. But to see this is a bad look, and then you have Dan Rafael, who says, my sources tell me that Vergil Ortiz is considering a trainer change, but that nothing is done yet. That's a big difference from saying it's a done deal. And then you have a situation where Vergil Ortiz Jr. says, thank you for reporting it right, Dan, considering. And then Dan Rafael said, good luck. So that's really, if we're being fair and objective, that's really the proper way that you would want to approach the situation. So it looks bad on ESPN because for whatever reason, he might go over there, he might end up, but it sounds like it's too preliminary or too premature to be putting it out in print just to get the scoop. You know what I mean? And it's weird. We're in a space of boxing where you got boxing media is telling the fighter whose career it is what the next thing is for that fighter's career. You had the ESPN reporter. He said, I stand by my reporting. So he's so confident in somebody else. He said right here, it says, I stand by my reporting. So he's confident in whoever told him and the sources that told him that this is the case, that, he's double downing on it. And you have Vergil Ortiz like, yo, hey, unless you heard it from me, my dad, or my manager, Rick, can that? So it's just weird times in boxing. And then this particular reporter, if you guys remember, this was recently the altercation at the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 3 fight week, where Bob Arum looked and he says, shut the up, little prick. Remember? And he was like, yeah, Derek, get him out of here. And then he had the security or whatever, whoever Derek is, escort him out. Just weird times. It's not a shot at nobody. It's just is what we're talking about is real life. My thing is this. Like I said, you hear these situations where the celebrity got to hear about what's going on with their life from somebody else's publishing. There's a great Denzel Washington interview, and he said that people they just rather be first. They don't care if it's accurate, if it's reliable. You guys should Google it. Go on YouTube, you could probably find it. Denzel, he was cooking, and Denzel Washington said people sometimes, they just care about being first. He says, if you don't read the paper, you're uninformed. If you do read the paper, you're misinformed. And I love that. I love that from Denzel. He's like, yeah, so a lot of people, they want to be first. They don't care about being accurate. Yeah. They care about putting the scoop out. And it's disrespectful, at the end of the day. And the funny thing is, I'm so glad. Thank you to all the fans from the bottom of my heart who have supported me over the years, because luckily I'm in a position where, believe it or not, I know a lot of fighters, and I'm sitting on hordes of interviews that I've never released for various reasons, and I get information and I get sources telling me. But at the end of the day, this is a game, and you got to play the game like a boss. You know, you got to move like a don. And at the end of the day, I get information, and sometimes people tell me that information cannot come out, even in secrecy. Just wait, and they just want to give me a heads up. And I do not put, out of respect for those people, I do not put the information out. So there's a lot. I'm just super fortunate that my career is not dependent on being first and like putting out a story. Like I could talk about, as long as I'm relatively current, you know what I mean? A piece of news can come out, I can make a video 2 days later and y'all will still watch it. Or, you know, that's has been the case so far. But yeah, it's disrespectful when people don't, like, you DM the person, you DM the guy and say, hey, is it true? And he says no, and then the ESPN's still gonna put out the story. This is probably why Bob Arum went in on the reporter, to be honest, because look, this is out here. Because you have to take in consideration, these are people's lives and jobs and livelihood. Of course, a fighter got to do what's best for them in their career, but what if he is going to Eddie Reynoso and he hadn't made the time to sit down and talk to Robert Garcia, you know? And then Robert Garcia got to find out that he's no longer training in the gym through ESPN. You know, it's kind of a bad look. So ESPN ran, you know, that's a flag on the play, bro. That's a flag on the play. They aired a story and they're airing it on TV and all this stuff. And it sounds like it's in the works, but not necessarily to the point where it needs to come out like that. You know, you have Anthony Joshua. Yeah, there's a lot of people, and see, I live by everything I say. I practice what I preach, I promise. And I've been like that since day one. And you can check my G files, Digital Mob. So Anthony Joshua, he's in a similar situation, loses to Usyk, enforces the rematch clause. He popped up in Canelo's gym and Eddie Reynoso, Charlo's gym. He was in Virgil Hunter's gym. He was all over the place. And we don't know what his decision is. I'm comfortable just waiting. You know, I barely made video. I didn't make, when he was in Canelo's gym, that's his business. I didn't make videos about every single time. All I said was he was in, because there was some video of him in the Charlo video, but I said, I'll wait for Joshua to, listen, you can go watch the video. I said, I'll wait for Joshua to reveal what's next for him. And I think Vergil Ortiz is owed that same pleasure. He's a terrific fighter. Eddie Reynoso, that's a good look. It's a good fit, but let him tell it. Let me know what you guys think of ESPN doing this. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And I'm out.